Welcome back, everybody. We are live. How's it going? I see some people in the chat already. Going live on Facebook as well, but I can't see any of the comments if there are any people watching on Facebook. So if you're there, I can't see anything. So let's say hi to some people in the chat here. We got Major Zero, John Matlick, not even Jonathan, Peter White, OG Brick is in the house. Let's see, JT is here. What's up, JT? I was actually just up at Spirits not long ago for the first time in a little bit. I thought that I saw Sugar Kitty here. Sugar Kitty, I know you wanted a new sound effect, but I didn't have time to make one, so. So that's what you get. So hit that like button. Yes, please hit the like button. So I mentioned in the the thumbnail that you can tell it's obviously just me for the night. Greg is currently in federal custody, but I think he's gonna get out on a technicality, something about like a tainted chain of evidence or something like that. So he should be here for the next one. So don't worry about him. No, I'm kidding, of course. Greg is had some previous obligations tonight, but I do have, check this out. I've got virtual Greg that I can bring in and out. So hold on a second. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg. I'm Ben. And today, you know, even when I'm just mocking him, I can't steal his tagline. So we do, if me being on here by myself gets too weird, we can put virtual Greg in just to balance it out a little bit. But for the time being, gonna get into a little bit of bourbon here. The Bourbon Syndicate, how's it going? Welcome to the chat. Let's see, we got a Sugar Kitty. Yeah. Swap the crap out of that like button with your paw. Yes. Troy and Lisa Toole are here. What's going on? JT, I'm assuming you're talking about the raffle up at Spirits. I actually missed this one. So yeah, I was not able to participate in that one. But let's see. Talking amongst yourselves. Sometimes I jump into the chat here, and I don't know if you're talking to me or each other. So talking about blending. So yeah, I did mention in the comments earlier, OG asked if there was any particular theme to tonight's kind of live stream since it's just me. Oh, by the way, let's get some music going too. Anything to make this less painfully awkward with just me being the only one here. A little bit of background music. So I think what I'll probably do, the last time I did one of these when I was actually, couldn't tell which is Rich. All right, Sugar Kitty, I see you. Put that one up. So the last time I was actually gonna do one of these just by myself, Greg was busy and then he ended up being able to join me. So my plan was to do on Patreon. If you're not a Patreon supporter, I do blending videos, and I do those by myself. Gives me something to do for bonus content, and it's something I can film where Greg and I don't have to coordinate our schedules and stuff like that. So I do blending videos once it's kind of been like every week and a half lately, where I just put the wheel up, spin it, figure out which bourbons I'm going to blend. And so Greg and I did that together on that previous live stream. I think I'm going to get into that tonight, but I'm going to start out with something here. I actually just picked this one up. This is Ezra Brooks 99 proof. I just kind of wanted a budget-friendly sipper on the shelf just for a go-to pour. And I believe not when we first started the channel, but not too long into it, I think we actually did a review of this. And I think I remember it being pretty good. I've liked all the Ezra Brooks stuff, even their cheaper stuff. And we're also going to be doing, in the future here, we're going to be doing a top bourbons under 100 proof. And so this one being 99, just kind of barely slides in there.
That's what she said.
And so I figure I'd give this a shot and see if it belongs in the list. Bobby is in the house.
Whoa, yeah.
All right, we got Bad Axe Bourbon here. I think I see, yeah, there we go. Where's C3PO? Hold on, Bobby. I can get Greg in here with the mere click of a button. All right, there's Greg. There's the stand-in. Greg. I should just do the whole show like this, actually. It feels a little more natural for me to be on this side anyway. And then maybe people will tune in and think something's wrong with Greg. So, anyway. All right, let's get to... Okay, well, now it just feels weird because I'm actually alone here, so now it just feels weird being over here. I can't figure it out. I'm just going to get rid of Greg for the moment, but I'll bring him back shortly. All right. Kind of do like a little bit of a live review. Like I said, we did a review of this one before, and I remember actually liking it. I paid like $23 for this. And so, again, we're going to be doing a top bourbons under 100 proof. Hey, so there's the first thing for audience participation. What do you guys think? I mean, we've got kind of all the standard ones, but we wanted to kind of put together a list of like the best, like maybe 10 bourbons under 100 proof. So let me know. I mean, you guys are probably thinking a lot of the same ones that we are already, but maybe there's something that we're missing. You know, the standards, we got, you know, Russell's 10 on there. Maybe the Four Roses small batch, some Old Forester stuff, you know, kind of the standards. 1792 small batch, that's a fantastic bourbon. Gandy Road, what's going on? This is really good. It's kind of nutty. I think, were they still sourced, was this MGP? I know MGP owns Lux Row now, which makes this. But was this, no, it says Bardstown Distillers, Kentucky. It doesn't say it was made there. Distilled and aged in Kentucky. Okay. So Lux Row, 13th Colony. You know, Gandy Road, Greg's been waiting on his bottle of that for like, he ordered that like 3 months ago, it feels like. Eagle Rare. Yeah, we're going to put Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace on there as honorable mentions just because of the availability. I know there's a lot of places where those are just sitting on shelves. In Minnesota, you cannot get Buffalo Trace in Minnesota. I was actually just talking to somebody. I talked to 2 different liquor stores in the last, week or so, last weekend, and both of them said that they cannot get Benchmark 8 because it's allocated at this point. That's how bad the whole Buffalo Trace thing has gotten, and that's just ridiculous because Benchmark 8 is terrible bourbon. They can't get Ancient Age either. Like, they can't even get it from distributors. They're treating it like it's Eagle Rare. So, anyway, yeah, we're going to throw that on there. And then I also have another thing to run by you guys. And I genuinely want some feedback on this. I'm thinking about doing like a whole video. I was actually almost kind of planning on doing like a whole, theme with the live stream tonight about this topic. But I'll just throw it out there, and then maybe at some point Greg and I will get around to actually doing a video about this. But I put up a short probably 2 weeks ago now, and it was, I don't know why I feel the need to actually grab the bottle, but bam, Henry McKenna 10-year. And I got a lot of different comments on this, which is great because that's what we're looking for out of those shorts. Bardstown Origin Series. We can't get Bardstown in Minnesota, so I would have to go over to Wisconsin for that because I've heard that they have them over there. Too many people hunting bourbon. You'll see them with a list in their hand. They have no clue what they're actually doing. Yeah, there's probably a lot of that. And here's the thing. I was that guy when I first started too. I remember reading that, the poor man's Pappy it's like Weller 12 and 107 or something like that. And I had no idea that those were hard to find bourbons. I thought Pappy and Blanton's were the only ones that were hard to find. So I went to Total Wine. I was like, yeah, where's the Weller 12 and the Antique 107? And they looked at me like I was a moron. So half the stores in Ontario have Blanton's on the shelf. Christmas gifts will thin out the stack, though. Interesting. Lux Row was sourcing from Heaven Hill at one point. They were building their own huge distillery and then MGP merger. Sugar Kitty with the info. Anyway, let me get into this, and then I'll get into the Henry McKenna thing here. For $23, I'll take that, for sure. Kind of nutty. I don't know. Kind of a down-the-middle bourbon, I guess, but really good. Yeah, I dig that. Anyway, This might be a list if we do a top 10. Anyway, speaking of 10, Henry McKenna 10 years. So I put out that short just asking, like, what happened to this bottle? Because everybody knows the story. This used to be like 30 bucks, maybe 40 bucks, you know, a couple years before I got into bourbon. And then shortly after I got into the game, this, of course, kind of infamously won the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, and it won hands down best whiskey, not just bourbon, like basically won best whiskey in the world. And then, of course, after that, as things tend to go, it got super overhyped, super hard to get, and it became allocated, and the price went up, of course. Now, this is all over Minnesota. I mean, there's stacks of it in stores. It usually runs maybe $58 to $65. And what I was thinking, Brian Vaughn is here. What's going on? Bike riding Brian Vaughn. I think it won San Francisco twice. Okay. It usually runs $58 to $65. And what I asked in that short was, is it overpriced now or was it well underpriced before? And I tend to kind of fall on the side of, I think around the $60 price point is fair for this. I had a lot of people comment that were like, you know, as soon as it went over $45, I tuned out. And it's okay, I respect people's opinion. But, hey, Independent Joe, what's going on, man? I respect people's opinion on that, but you also do kind of find sometimes in the comments, it's almost like people who just can't admit that their favorite band, if they get a hit song, that the hit song is good. You know, it's like they almost have to just say it's hard. It's like Metallica fans that hate Enter Sandman. It's like, dude, Enter Sandman's a good song. It just is, you know? It may not be your cup of tea, but it's a good song. You're just pissed because everybody else likes it. And I'm kind of wondering if that's like a similar thing, because when people are saying like this isn't worth more than $40, like I think that's being a little bit harsh. I mean, considering that just based on the stats, and I think this is great whiskey too. Peter White says, I wonder what happened to that barrel that won best bourbon. Yeah, that'd be interesting because this is a single barrel. And so speaking of the stats, imagine if any other distillery, major distillery like Heaven Hill right now, came out and said, we're releasing a 10-year age-stated bottled and bond single barrel. Would $60 shock you as a price that you would say that's well overpriced? I don't think so. You know, if Old Forester did that, I'd pay $60 for it. I got to imagine the Old Forester single barrels that are the 100 proof ones, those are probably, I got to imagine they're $55 to $60. You know, and those are non-age stated. I heard they're amazing. I haven't had one. OG Brick says, sad but true. I see what you did there. Another great song. I love the Black Album. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's a great album. And I'm a die-hard Metallica fan. My introduction to how to savor and enjoy whiskey was with Henry McKenna. That's a good one to get into it with. I mean, honestly, I think it's a fantastic bourbon. So Brian Vaughn, bike riding Brian Vaughn, says, isn't the saying $10 per year? So I just had a conversation with Alyssa at Spirits, and we were kind of talking about that because I had brought up the Henry McKenna thing. And she was kind of saying that it seems like, because we were talking about the fact that, you know, Eagle Rare at MSRP is, you know, around here it gets closer to $50, and I'm fine with that. I think Eagle Rare, quality-wise, is a $50 bourbon, but I know it retails for $30 in some other places. We just don't see it for that around here. But $50 to $30 I think is fair. So when you've got 10-year age-stated stuff like Eagle Rare or like Russell's Reserve 10-year that sells for, say, $35, it's like, where does the $10 per year come in? And we were talking about it, and she was kind of saying, well, it seems like it's once you hit 10 years, anything after that is $10 per year. So like an 11-year bourbon, $110. Because if you think about it, you get into like a 15-year bourbon, is $150 fair for, you know, just based on that stat alone? I don't know. I mean, that Gatsby, Remus Gatsby is, I think, 15-year age stated. That's like $200, $300. Russell's Reserve is too watered down. You know, I haven't had it in a little bit, but when we did our proof points, our 90 proof points, that one actually won out for, it won out for me, except at the last minute we threw the Van Winkle 12-year in there just to throw an allocated one in there. That actually won, but the Russell's Reserve beat everything else for me besides that. $10 per year maybe for limited special releases, not staples or normal release. Okay, so what do you guys think? Is say $60 for Henry McKenna 10-year. Do you think that's fair? For, like I said, if Wild Turkey announced we're releasing a 10-year age-stated whiskey, it's bottled in bond, it's going to be single barrel, and you're waiting to hear the price on it, and they come out with $60, I'd be shocked if it was that cheap. And it's going to be available, like now in Minnesota, this is available most places. I know it kind of dried up for a little bit there. Wolf E says no. Okay, Wolf E, so say yes or no and then put the price that you think this should top out at. I feel like I might actually be in the minority on this one, thinking that 65 is definitely the top. I don't like paying that much, but I mean 60, I think it's good. How much is a Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 7-year? Those run about 50. At least here in Minnesota, and those just became available for the first time. What's up, Shredward? Shredward's in the house. All right, so we got 60, Bike Riding Brian Vaughn. Hit me with some prices, guys. I got to hear this stuff. For the people just joined, we're talking about the price on Henry McKenna 10-year, single barrel, bottled in bond, which again, I think this is absolutely fantastic whiskey. I love this stuff. I know people say that these can vary a lot, and I've had a few of them, and they've all been great. So I haven't had a bad one yet. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond tastes like potting soil. I have not had it yet, so I've been waiting to get one of those. But now that they're available, I'm in less of a hurry. If I had seen that on vacation or something, I would have scooped it up immediately. Wolfie, $40 max for a 10-year bottled and bond single barrel. Is that just because you don't like Henry McKenna in particular, Wolfie, or is that because is it because it used to be priced cheaper? Because again, I think just any distillery that puts out, I mean, you look at, there are plenty of brands out there that are selling at the $50 price point, $55 price point, that people don't seem to have a problem with. And so I just kind of find that interesting that there's such a controversy over this bottle. Virginia is 70. OG Brick, would you pay the 70 or do you think that's fair? All right. Get some more people joining the chat here. So for the people that just showed up, I'm watching the number here. So whenever it jumps by like 5, I like to kind of let people know what we're doing here. So Wolfie says I don't particularly care for Henry McKenna. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that if you don't like it. I'm just saying, like, is it unfair to see this on the shelf? And let's see, what's MSRP on Blanton Single Barrel? In Minnesota, any store that sells it below in Minnesota, it's either like 70 to 75 bucks or it's 130. It's one of those two. I think the MSRP is maybe close to 65, so it's 75 bucks. I'm not mad at that. I'll pick it up. Cooper's Craft is 30 bucks most of the time. I prefer that over Henry McKenna 10, depending on the barrel. You know, Shredward, I will agree with you on that. It's kind of hard to figure out what the value of these bottles truly is because you've got stuff like Cooper's Craft or Early Times Bottled and Bond that I think those are a couple of my favorite whiskeys. And they're, yeah, like you said, they're 30 bucks. So throw in the chat, what do you think is a fair price for Henry McKenna 10-year? Not based on hype, just based on what it is. If you had never heard of it before, and you walk into a liquor store and you see this on the shelf. Yep, Peter White saying again, 60 bucks is fair. I couldn't agree more, Peter. Okay, so at some point we're going to get off the Henry McKenna topic, but I do want to see your your opinions here. I figured 50 bucks tops for Shredward. Okay, yeah, 50 bucks. All right, I'm not mad at that. I would probably go maybe 10, 12 bucks higher than that for me personally, but you know, just some of the people that were like, you know, I know Wolfie said 40, but he doesn't particularly like it. But I think some people just get kind of hung up on maybe not liking it just because of the hype. I put out another short with the Rip Van Winkle 10-year, and somebody had put in there that, you know, I wouldn't pay more than 60 for that. It's mediocre. And it's like, really? You're not going to pay more? If you walk in and you see an old Rip Van Winkle 10-year for 65, you're not going to buy it, or 70, you're not going to buy it. I think it's great. But again, to each their own. I'm not judging whether or not, you know, you like it, but I'm buying that every time for sub 100 for sure. Okay, so let's get off the Henry McKenna.
That's what she said.
10-year subject. I would buy a case. Yeah, for sure, OG, I would too. Okay, so here's how we do this. For those of you that don't know, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, I do a blending show on Patreon, for Patreon only. I bring up the wheel of names, so I'll have to, give me just a second. I'm going to share the screen here so I can get the wheel up. Okay, let's see here. Oh, for God's sakes. I hate it when I'm trying to bring this up, and then if the window is in the background. There we go, Microsoft Edge tab. Select the tab to share. Oh, for God's sakes. Hang on just a second. Well, this is not working for some reason. Of course it isn't. Right when I go to do my little blending thing here, I can't get the wheel to show up. Or if I share the entire screen, hold on a second. This is going to look weird for a minute. Add to stage. Okay. I'm assuming you guys can see that, so I'm just going to go ahead and spin this real quick. This is to find out how many bourbons I'm going to blend. So again, this is a show I do separate only on Patreon. Oh, look at that. We got a 4 bourbon blend tonight. Okay. Hopefully you guys could see that. Can you let me know in the comments if that worked? Ask Greg what he thinks. I will bring Greg in just a second. Peter White, I couldn't agree with you more. Sub 100 or a tad over. Jesse Erickson, hello from DL. I prefer 4 Roses single barrel 100 proof over McKenna 10-year. Yeah, 4 Roses, you can't go wrong with that. With this single barrel, that's amazing. And knowing that a few years ago McKenna was half the price, now I feel comfortable pricing at 40 to 50. Okay, fair enough. Greg LeDrew from Winnipeg. Far as I know, not available in Canada. Last time in Minneapolis, had a pour and enjoyed it. Hard to justify 60 though. When it can vary bottle to bottle. With exchange, it would be about 80 Canadian. Okay, yeah, that's getting a little steep for me. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the wheel again. The reason, I'm sorry I'm having to do this kind of weird. It's not letting me choose an internet tab for some reason. And so I'm having to share the whole screen in order to do this. So I'm going to switch over here real quick, and I'm going to paste in my bourbon collection. Give me just a second. So here's what I do. I get the entire bourbon collection uploaded to the wheel. I usually keep about 140 bottles on hand. That's how I max out my bourbon collection. Okay, so now I'm going to share the screen. And I'll go full screen on this. And this is to figure out which bourbons I'm blending. So bear with me here. Again, I'm sorry, I don't know what this looks like to you guys. To me, I'm full screen on the wheel here. And so I'll grab whatever. Unless it comes across a bottle that I killed. Which it did, actually. I apologize for that. I'm going to remove that. I killed that bottle since I made this list. So we're going to have to move on. Now watch this. This is just going to do a bunch of bottles that I no longer have. So anyway, whatever 4 bottles the wheel picks, I'm going to do a blend of that and review it. Yellow Rose, okay? We have a Texas whiskey. Everybody knows how much we love Texas whiskey. Close. All right. What do we got next? ECBP C921. Okay, got that. Bourbon ready to drink. Good Lord, this is going to be a weird blend. This may be the weirdest one I've had yet. Rare breed, uncut, unfiltered. Okay. All right. Now that we got that moved away. So again, I don't know how that looked. Steve Joes says, hey, Steve Joes is here. A little late. Cheers all. Thank God it wasn't C923. That is true, Steve Joes. And since we're on the subject, I may include that. Like if we do like a end of the year, bottles of 2023, that one is going to come in as the most dry humped bottle of 2023. The C923. Peter Way 25. Respin. Get that one out. Yep, I got that one out. Okay. You get one redo. I know, it's so funny because just as I was saying that, hopefully it doesn't pick one that I killed and forgot to take off the list. And of course, live for the World Wide Web. And just to be extra fair on this review, I'm going to get a fresh Glen here. So anyway, again, like I was saying, this is a show I normally do on Patreon. I pre-record it. I don't do it live on Patreon. But it works just like that. I go to the wheel, find out how many bourbons I'm going to blend, and then I blend them. And this just all kind of stemmed from Greg and I always doing blends at the end of our videos. So I'm going to go ½ ounce on each of these and make a 2-ounce pour. So this is an interesting one because the Elijah Craig C921 and Rare Breed Uncut Unfiltered are going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Alyssa's here. What's going on, Alyssa? I hope you were here earlier. I was actually talking about you. Talking about you on the internet. I was talking about our conversation we had about the $10 per year on age-stated bourbons. 440 proof. You guys are going to have to do the math on this one. We got 92... 120.2, 90, and 116.8. So add those up. I can't do it on the fly because I'm not intelligent. You're going to ruin that good bourbon with Texas whiskey. Hey, the wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away. You guys would be surprised the amazing bourbons that I have blended with absolute trash bourbons on this show. So again, if you're interested, this is a show that I do separately for Patreon viewers only, and I try to do them once a week. I've been a little busy the last couple weeks, so it's been like every week and a half, but I'll film another one this weekend, or maybe even tomorrow, and get that out. I usually try to do them for Fridays, but I've been a little bit off, so. Okay, so here we go. All right. So here's the other thing that I've been having a little bit of bad luck with doing these blends, is I keep picking these kind of weirder bottles that maybe most people don't have on hand. Gunnar L, welcome to the chat. What are the proofs? 92, 120.2, 90, and 116.8. So add those all up and whatever you get. Troy from Baker Drinks is in the house. A celebrity amongst the chat. Celebrity bourbon reviewer, Troy Baker. All turkey should be excluded from being blended with anything but another turkey. Well, does that include 101, Troy? Because we all know how you feel about 101. Oh, no, Gunner, on the bourbon note, we actually just add all 4 of them together, and then that's the proof. So we're rocking almost 400 proof here. We also add up all age statements, but I do like the fact that you actually average that out. That's awesome. Okay. So again, we've got 2 amazing whiskeys. The bourbon ready to drink, this is kind of their base offering. I think it's a little more meant for cocktails. $4.21. Thank you, Gunner L. And then this Yellow Rose, surprisingly enough, this is a 6-month bourbon, I think it says, aged at least 6 months. No, 1 year, sorry. Surprisingly enough, as Texas whiskeys go, this one doesn't make me want to just curl up into a ball and die. But that being said, it's not great. I got to tell you, as much as like these 2 higher proof, I felt we're going to do all the heavy lifting. The youthful funk, the Texas funk, is coming through a little bit. So we are at 421.2 proof.
What the?
Yeah, so that's
That stuff will melt the shell off a garden snail.
This is going to taste like 2 scoops of ass. I'm sure even with this blend, he'll be able to gobble it up. Independent Joe.
That's what she said.
All right, let's get into it. On the nose, it actually doesn't smell like a bad bourbon, but it certainly doesn't smell like an ECBP or a rare breed. So there's definitely, these are being brought down a little bit. Would have to like to see what you start with and just EC and rare breed. Would like to see you start with just the EC and rare breed. We could do that. Mikey Likey, whiskey, hanging AZ. All right, let's get into this one. Cheers. Little bubble gummy and a little funky, but let's check it out. Nope. That's it's not that it's a bad whiskey. It's surprising how much these 2 are bringing down these 2. I mean, that's amazing. Bobby had to skip out. He's working. That's okay. OG says verbal skills are gone. OG, I don't know if you're talking about me, but if you are, I don't know that they were ever actually there. How do I get rid of this stupid... There we go. Yeah, this is Funky Cold Medina. It's a fantastic song. Not a thing that should be done. No, Hangin' AZ, I would not recommend this. New segment, the progressive blend. Blend 2 in taste, add a 3rd in taste, and the 4th in taste, see which one ruined the blend. Troy, that's a fantastic idea. I might actually do that. Yeah, this is, it's just shocking. I wouldn't guess that there's Elijah Craig or Rare Breed in this. Again, it's not a horrible blend, but it's knowing that these 2 are in there. All right, now I got to do this just to, I'm going to do the Rare Breed and the Elijah Craig. Ask and you shall receive here on the Bourbon Note Live. Trying to make sure I get all the smell and taste out of this glass. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute my mic so you guys didn't have to listen to me chug water. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to set this one aside. Maybe I'll kill this one later. But let's do maybe just a ½ ounce of each of these. Glad you guys are getting to see the white hot content you're missing out on if you're not subscribed to the Patreon. Although those videos are edited, so there's not quite as much downtime. But on the last one, I actually included a bloopers reel. I don't know if any of you guys that are subscribers watched that, but I was trying to record the episode, and it was a complete shit show. Everything was going wrong. It was terrible. I had to refilm it like twice. By the time I filmed the last one and actually got it recorded, I was half in the bag. Raisin Bran Blend, 4 scoops. All right, let's get into this. That has a fantastic, spoiler alert, Rare breed and Elijah Craig barrel proof is awesome. Oh, yeah. I miss Greg's ironic wit, to be fair. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me ask and you shall receive. Hold on. Okay, let's put virtual Greg in. Put Greg in.
That's what she said.
Greg, I'm really enjoying the smell of this, and I bet it's going to be great in my mouth. What do you think?
That is the dirtiest, totally clean comment I've ever seen.
I like to keep Greg on standby in case I need him. You know, so anytime he ends up in federal custody, you know, I've always got Greg as backup. It feels totally weird for me to record this like this, though, because like I was saying before, like I'm alone in the bar. And so I'm standing like all offset. So, okay, so we're going to get Greg out of here just for the meantime. We can always bring him back. But for those of you that miss Greg, just like Star Trek, Dr. Robert is here. Okay. So this blend is freaking amazing. Yeah, if any of you guys have this, I would totally recommend it. Oaky, brown sugary. This is just like a quintessential amazing bourbon. You know, like, you ever had a bourbon that it's just like, it checks all the boxes, everything you want out of a bourbon? That's what this blend is. It's amazing. So on the Patreon show, I've had the first couple that I did were actually amazing. It was like Knob Creek single barrel, and this has actually been on there a couple times. And then I had a couple that were just terrible. And then I had one that was like 3 amazing bourbons, and it was like 3 allocated bourbons. It was like Weller and Stagg Jr. or something like that, and then it was like the regular brown bottle Henry McKenna, which is just awful. And it's amazing how much a shitty bourbon can bring down really good ones. You would think the really good ones would lift up.
That's what she said.
But it doesn't exactly work like that. I hope you guys can hear the sound effects, otherwise some of this isn't making sense. I recently blended Elijah Craig private barrel with a small batch to see how it tasted at 115 proof. Interesting. Well, don't leave us hanging.
That's what she said.
Brian Vaughn, let us know. Let's see. Yeah, Steve Jones is like, and? I need to 60-40 blend some rye and bourbon tonight. Okay. Bet you that'll be good, depending on which ones they are. Yeah, sometimes some ryes end up in here too. I don't think I put any, I can't remember if I put any of my like single malts or scotches. I only have a couple scotches, but there might be some American single malts on there. Greg is C3PO, some of the annoying habits, but just not the same when he's not there. Just kidding, Greg. We love you, brother. See you next week. All right. Bobby. Coming in, insulting Greg.
He's an asshole, sir.
Sugar Kitty, if it lifts and separates. It has pretty good. All right, let's see. Yeah, so I would recommend this blend. I would not recommend this blend at all. So, yeah, this is fantastic. All right, what do we have? So we've got coming up on the show, Greg and I have been very, very busy. We've mentioned this for the last couple of weeks. Greg's got a busy week ahead of him, so we kind of film like the next 2 weeks worth of content. We'll still probably get together next week for the live show. But we've got the Heaven's Door Homesick Blues coming out tomorrow. I would love to hear in the comments. I'm not going to tell you what we thought about it, just because, trying to get you to watch the show here. But if anybody is in the comments that has had the Heaven's Door Homesick Blues, let me know what you think. Maybe I'll tell you if I agree or disagree. I'll go that far. And then we've got some of these too. I picked up another couple of Doc Swinson's Blenders Cut. We got a couple of those coming up. Just put the Smoke Wagon versus Smoke Wagon video out. Which that one, I had to edit down quite a bit. we were a little rusty on that one. It'd been a while since we filmed, so we were kind of all over the board. Here's what I have to do now. Hurry Ben, play a game, set some rules, and just change them for no reason so he can feel the presence of Greg. That's kind of what I'm doing, Bobby, because, you know, I did the 4 blend here, but then I just did a blend of these 2. So now I'm going to do a small blend of just these 2 bad ones and see what that does. I'm going to do small pours of these because it is a school now. Hangin says, need to do an MGP bourbon rye blend. Interesting. The only Heaven's Door I've had was a store pick. Wish I could be more specific, but it was darn tasty. Yeah, I just recently put out a short, or I certainly filmed one. I can't remember if I put it out or not. I think I did. The Heaven's Door store picks are amazing. Alyssa, if you're still in the chat, got Alyssa's store pick right here, which is awesome. Up at Spirits, go check that out. I have not had a bad store pick. Mikey Likey Whiskey says, as a Weeder fan, I love the Homesick Blues. I did the whole Heaven's Door portfolio tasting. That was my winner. Not a big bootleg fan, unfortunately. Or fortunately at that MSRP. Yeah, I would say it's a good thing you don't like it because those run a couple of $100. Interesting. Well, Mikey Likey Whiskey, you're going to want to turn in and check out our video of it tomorrow. Bad Axe Bourbon. Bobby, are you talking about, when you say love it, are you talking about the Heaven's Door Homesick Blues? Or something else? Okay, let's do a real quick. This has a rubber cork on it, so it's kind of a BI itch to get out of there. I'm going to do about a 1/4 ounce of each of these because I don't want to drink too much, and I just don't feel like I'm really going to love this blend. So... attention everyone, the double-decker taco has returned to Taco Bell. Make a run for the border. Let's pin that. I've been in and out.
That's what she said.
That's, oh, Bobby, I actually dropped the sound effect before I even read that. What's the topic here? Bobby, so I'm doing, I don't know, Bobby, I know you're a Patreon supporter, but I don't know if you've watched the blending videos. And so for the new people that just joined the chat, I know some of you have heard this a few times, but just to make sure everybody knows what's going on. I do a show on our Patreon where I put the, reference to changing the game rules, okay. Where I do a wheel, and I spin the wheel to find out how many bourbons I'm going to blend, and then I uploaded my entire whiskey collection to the wheel, and then I spin it, and whatever 4 whiskeys it picks, I blend them. And so tonight I blended these 4. Let me get the... thing off here so you can see it. It's a rare breed, uncut, unfiltered, bourbon ready to drink. Elijah Craig's was C921 and Yellow Rose. The blend of all 4 of them was not great, and so now I did a blend of just the Elijah Craig and the rare breed to see how that was, and that's amazing. Now I'm doing a blend of just the 2 bad ones. The blend of all 4 of them, you could tell that the 2 less than great ones really brought the whole house down. I would need to smoke a J in order to run to the border. I wonder if the double-decker taco will ever be a whiskey tasting note. Well, I did actually invoke the KFC Famous Bowl. I know I've talked about that on the live stream as the greatest hangover cure, which it is, that and a Rupert float. But we did the, if you haven't seen it yet, we did the Evan Williams eggnog review. And I swear to God, I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but it smelt like a KFC Famous Bowl. And I stand by that wholeheartedly. This blend smells very low-age craft bourbon-y. Dennis Weedman's here. KC Single Barrel and Rare Breed is a must-try combo. Dennis, I think that actually might have been the first blending video I did. I think it was those 2. If I remember correctly. Did you see that, Dennis, on the Patreon? Because honestly, I really think that was a while ago, but I think that was the first one. I can taste the bourbon ready to drink much more than I can taste the yellow rose. Bourbon ready to drink, is this from Tennessee? This kind of has Dickley sort of notes to it.
That's what she said.
Distilled by Middle West Spirits, Columbus, Ohio. Okay. This kind of has that Flintstone vitamin. Hangover cure, 4 crappy Jack in the Box tacos with a PBR chaser. That sounds amazing. Unfortunately, in Minnesota, we don't have Jack in the Box. Do you see there is Doritos nacho flavored liquor coming out? No, but I am on that shit immediately. You know we're going to be doing a review of that here on the Bourbon Note, for sure. Flaming Hot Dickel.
That's what she said.
I have a Taco Bell short walking distance from my house. Have been there twice. Tim Fisher, what's up, Timmy? Greg's up. You know what, Tim? That's so funny. I was actually just thinking about that the other day. There's hidden meaning. That's my friend Tim in the chat here. Behind the term Greg's up, and I have never actually told Greg about it, which is funny. But hold on a second. Let me bring in a virtual Greg. Greg's up. All right. So, well, welcome. Hey, Timmy, let me know in the comments. Are you joining from Facebook? Because I can't tell if there's people in Facebook or not because I'm looking at the StreamYard thing here. Alyssa says, reminds me of the Flaming Hot Cheetos video. Yeah, that was a good one. We also did bourbon and Pop Rocks one night. Hey, by the way, while we're on the subject of like snacks and chips, I don't know if they're just not getting my clips or they just don't care, but Wendy's still has not re-released, or not Wendy's, Pringles has not re-released the Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich chips yet. All right, Timmy's on YouTube. Okay. So again, good people of Pringles, hear my plea. For the love of God, please, the Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich Pringles, can we have them back? Or can I at least get some? I have been trolling the dark web trying to order these things. And yeah, no luck. So Wendy's, if you see this, hit me up. Slide into my DMs, as they say.
That's what she said.
All right, what do we got here? In the old days, you would have to fashion a cardboard cutout, Greg, and then edit the video. Hanging AZ, I cannot tell you the amount of times I have thought about where can I find a place that will make a cardboard cutout of Greg, because that has definitely crossed my mind. I miss Nabisco Swiss cheese crackers. I don't think I ever had those. See, Jesse Erickson says, I'm intrigued by your ECBP blend, so just did it with my C923 and Antique 107. Not to smoothen the EC, but to smoothen out the 107. For me, the 107 has a burn. What are your thoughts, Ben? Damn it, now I'm going to have to do this one too. Hang on a second. Okay. This is the best idea I've ever heard. So, Jesse Erickson, stand by. Oh, God. I'm going to get a fresh Glen. This has to be my last pour of whiskey because while I don't feel particularly buzzed, I can tell my voice is starting to get a little bit louder. So, that's usually the sign. All right, Antique 107. Put that out there. And you said C923, I believe. C923, the most dry-humped bottle of 2023. I just crushed a bag of Ruffles all dressed. Yeah, those are good. The Canadian-style Ruffles. Pringles taco truck is pretty bum. I've never seen those. It made it better. So it made the 107. So 107 is actually one of my favorite bourbons. I'm very, very low. I do have one bunkered bottle. Mixed Rare Breed and KC Single Barrel. So Shredward, I think it was Dennis Weedman mentioned that at the beginning. I think that was my first blending video. Okay, so this is fresh. So ECBP C923. C923, okay. I'm going to do a very, very small pour of this because, again, it's a school night. So I'm going to do maybe a 1/4 ounce each. Actually, let's do 1 ounce. Or a 1/2 ounce, I mean. We'll do a 1 ounce pour total. Half ounce C923 to cap off the night. By the way, can anybody let me know? I didn't check if Steven is going live over at Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. He historically has gone live right after we do, and he starts at 7 o'clock Central Time. So let me know, because he was away from Whiskey Tube for a little while, but he's back now, and I don't want to step on his stream.
That's what she said.
So if somebody could quick check in on his channel, maybe, let me know. Anyway, so the blend of all 4 of these in front is trash. Don't bother with it. So let's go in for the Antique 107 and the Elijah Craig C923 blend. Booker's and EC C923. Which Bookers? I don't have any Bookers on my shelf. Let's see. Swiss cheese crackers. I have the ketchup Lay's and the poutine Lay's as well, but haven't opened them. And the sour cream and bacon was great. I used to like ketchup potato chips back in the day. I don't know if I do anymore, but I do love poutine.
That's what she said.
That is the dirtiest, totally clean comment I've ever seen.
Ooh, that's an interesting blend. Okay, so right now, for those of you that just may have joined, we've got the Weller Antique 107 and the Elijah Craig C923 blend. I like it better than C923 on its own. Jesse, I was actually just going to say, I think I'm actually getting more of the Antique 107 out of this. And then he just put that in the comments as well. Bobby putting up the Patreon link. Check out the Patreon, folks. $3 a month. You can see me doing blending videos like this on a weekly basis. Wang dang poutine. Yeah, I'm really getting that nice, I'm getting a really good oak note off of this, but I always get a really nice cherry, kind of bordering on cherry cola note from the Antique 107, and I absolutely love that about it. Antique 107 is legit one of my favorite bourbons, and so it just pains me that it's so hard to find. So hopefully, Buffalo Trace just announced that they're doubling their production. So with their expansion, Steve Joe's blending C923 is blasphemy. I totally disagree. I'm going to cut down the bitterness. All right, I'm going to one more sip here. Chocolate covered peanut. Hold on a second. Since you dropped that like, peeps, it's totally free. Yes, Bobby, thank you. Hit the like button. Trader Joe's chocolate covered peanut butter pretzel nuggets. That sounds amazing. I actually have some peanut butter pretzel nuggets from Costco. I think Costco. But that sounds incredible. So the C923, everybody knows Greg and I kind of made fun of that bottle a lot. Again, it's a great whiskey, don't get me wrong. I just didn't think it was quite as amazing as everybody else thought. I thought there was a little bit bitterness to it that I don't know, just wasn't quite as rounded out for me. And I tend to like my bourbon a little rough around the edges. I like a little punch in the face, but my gripe with 107 is that it has a burn for me going down. Oh, damn it, where is it? There
That's what she said.
Better late than never. I'm going to keep my soundboard in front of me here. Dry hump that C923. Okay, well, Shredward asked for it, so we're going to have to get some C923 dry humping going on. And as if the dry humping wasn't enough, let's go with a little bit of this. Hang on, that was the wrong one. So yeah, there's that. Ask and you shall receive on the Bourbon Note Live. So, Antique 107 has been showing up at Total Wines around the Metro this week. Keep an eye out. Yeah, Mike, I've actually seen posts about that. The problem is that by the time you see the post, I think usually it's probably gone. But yeah, if I had, it's funny because I just had 5 weeks off and never bothered to show up at any liquor stores in the morning. But I was a little preoccupied, so. I think the bitterness was in your review. Yes, it definitely was. And the internet responded. Good Lord. It's like I insulted people's mothers in that video by saying that ECBP C923 was a little bitter. People were very, very offended. Here's a poll for peeps that have access to both Chick-fil-A sauce or Raising Cane sauce. Ooh. Greg's dry on hump day. Oh, no. Bobby, so we have both in our area, and I absolutely love both. I'm trying to remember I haven't been to Raising Cane's in a while, but I know they've got good sauce. But the Chick-fil-A sauce is pretty amazing, so I kind of feel like are they kind of similar? I don't know. I missed a few episodes, and what is happening? Well, Alyssa, we did a review of C923, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and Greg and I did not love that bottle as much as everyone else in the entire planet, apparently. Except for Whiskey Tornado, I think it was. Said the same thing we did. It was just, there's bitterness that was kind of like, meh. Yeah, so here you go. Peter White, bad-mouthing ECBP means instant pitchforks and torches. Here's the thing. I love the the B523. Yeah, that was one of my favorite bottles this year, and nobody liked it, apparently. And I thought it was really good, because that's sitting on shelves everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, we didn't praise the C923 quite as much as everybody else did. And boy, we heard about that in the comments. So apparently we are definitely in the minority on that. I got to tell you, so overall, before I end this whole thing tonight, the blend of these four is what I did originally. And then I did just the Elijah Craig and the Rare Breed, which was amazing. And then I did the, per Jesse's request or recommendation, the C923 and the Antique 107. This is amazing as well. So if you want to see, before I get out of here, more of these blending videos, again, for those of you that maybe missed it, on Patreon, I do a video. I try to do them once a week. I'm going to get back on schedule now that I'm kind of back on my normal schedule. Once a week where I uploaded my whole bourbon collection into the Wheel of Names, it's called. And basically it's a randomizer. And so I randomly select how many bourbons I'm going to blend, 2, 3, or 4. And then I let the wheel select which ones I'm going to blend, excuse me. And then I blend those and kind of do a review of that blend. And that all kind of started from Greg and I blending. Every time we do more than one whiskey in a review, we always do the blend at the end. So that was kind of the inspiration for that show. So that's Patreon only. You can join for as little as $3 a month. So go check that out if you want to. We're probably due for another Patreon only live stream as well. And then we invite whoever's a Patreon subscriber to join us on the live stream. So we'll get one of those coming up too. The last 2 months, Greg and I have had a lot of stuff going on that it's been very, very difficult to try to hit every single Wednesday, and then we usually do the Patreon live streams on like Fridays, and it just hasn't worked out for various kind of personal reasons. So let's see here. Let's catch up on some chats. Thanks for hosting. You're welcome, OG Brick. Thank you even more for being here. ECBP B523 made Minix Top 100. I agree. I thought that was a great bourbon. And again, that's sitting on shelves all over Minnesota, and I just don't understand that. A123 did not make the list. So, Brian, interestingly enough, Greg and I, so if you guys didn't see the videos, we did a Larceny barrel proof, all of the 23 releases, and then an Elijah Craig barrel proof, all the 23 releases. And out of both of those, the A batches won for both Greg and me for both of them, which is weird because we normally don't agree quite that much. Ben, how did you like the blend? Thought it was good and did what I wanted to. Yeah, I think this, if you're talking about the 107 and the C923, I think it's great. I'm definitely getting, like I said before, that C923, or not, sorry, the Antique 107 is really coming through with all the notes that I really like on that one. That kind of cherry cola note is coming through. Yeah, it's really good. Nice vanilla. Come on, people, become a Patreon. Steve Joe is Patreon supporter. Let's see here. Go check him out. Dirty RC Bar is in the house. What's going on, man? I follow your stuff. I know you're friends with Bobby, so welcome. Go check out the Dirty RC Bar on YouTube, making some more content. Larceny A123 made Fred's list. Okay. Dirty RC Bar Antique 107 is exceptional. I agree. This is actually one of my favorite bourbons, and it's very unfortunate because I don't care about the allocation and the hype around it. I just think it's a great bourbon. So, and then to finish off the Larceny and the Elijah Craig 2023 releases, Greg and I did our top two from each one of those against each other. The Elijah Craig won out for both of us, I think. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, the A batches, for Greg and I both picked the A batches. So, cheers everyone, Dirty RC. Dirty RC has great comparison video on Old Forester 1920 and the Old Forester barrel strength. Okay. Before we get out of here, can you guys drop a link to Dirty RC Bar, Bad Axe Bourbon? Baker Drinks was in here tonight. Get some of our friends out there a little bit of love and affection. So we'll chill out here for just a second and let maybe Bobby. I know you're a mod. Sugar Kitty is probably on top of this already.
That's what she said.
So if you guys could, there we go, Dirty RC Bar. All right. Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you took a break for a minute there, and now you're back putting content up, right? I believe. Am I correct on that? Patreon. Yes, the Patreon is good. The Patreon definitely helps. So there we go. YouTube.com/@thedirtyrcbar ? Okay. I am resorting to bringing this back in before I get out of here while we're throwing some links up. Absolutely has to move and relocate it. We're all set up? No. Okay, that's awesome. So go check that out. Baker Drinks. All right, we got a link to Baker Drinks. Check that out. They're doing a ton of stuff right now because they've got their Advent calendar going on. So I'm actually a little bit behind on those.
That's what she said.
I got to catch up. So, Bobby, what do you have coming up? Do you got when's your next live stream? You might have it posted already, but I don't know if I've seen it yet. I know Baker Drinks does Saturday nights, I believe at 8 o'clock Central, if I'm correct. So go check them out. Ugh. It's not that it's bad, but after doing the 107 and the ECBP C923 and the rare breed and the which one was it? B523, C921. Jesus, this just grainy and youthful and ugh. Bad Axe Bourbon. Naughty or Nice 12 Days of Christmas starts tomorrow. Okay, I knew you had something coming up. So check out Bobby's Naughty or Nice Days of Christmas. That was a lot of fun watching those last year, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So he may be short on vowels, but don't forget Indie Joe. That's right. I'm sorry. I apologize, Independent Joe, if you're still in here. Yeah, Independent Joe is in the chat tonight. So it's independent. The only vowel is the I at the beginning of independent. Otherwise, it's INDPNDNT. Did I get that right? Joe. So check him out. He's doing all kinds of cool stuff. Has famous celebrities on his channel all the time. So that's a lot of fun. So next week is, what's the date next week? We are getting closer and closer to Christmas. I'm so off on my schedule right now because I just went back to work. So next week is the 20th. We'll probably, hopefully be doing a live stream then. And then after that, we'll be after Christmas. So we'll probably be doing one then. That'll be on the 27th. So we'll kind of dodge all the holidays here. So I don't think the holidays will get in the way of us being able to do live streams. So we should be around for those. Half eggnog, half blind whiskey. Mrs. Bad Axe setting up the blinds for me. That's awesome. So Bobby, is that going to be every one of them is going to be half eggnog as a base, and then you're just going to add a different whiskey to it? Cheers, all gotta run. Thanks, John Matlick, Piper John, for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Old Pirate Bourbon. Cheers, bourbon friends. Well, you're a little late to the party, but that's okay. Better late than never. Good to have you here. I'm getting ready to sign off here in just a second. I got to hear back from Bobby, though, on the... are all of them... Because I know you put up a video talking about this. That might have been on Patreon. Yes, sir. Okay, so it's going to be eggnog as a 50% base and then 50% bourbon on top of that. That'll be interesting. Because I mixed some eggnog with bourbon, I think just this past weekend, but it definitely wasn't a 50-50 blend. So I might have to play along with you on that. So go check out Bad Axe Bourbon's Patreon as well. That's a lot of fun over there. Bobby's posting all kinds of cool stuff. So, and again, cheers, cheers Ben, cheers Jesse Erickson. Thank you for being here. Again, if you want to check out the Patreon, I think our lowest tier is $3 a month, and you get access to some fun behind-the-scenes stuff, extra shows, blending videos, stuff like that. We'll send you some swag as well. So thank you guys very, very much. This is the first time I've ever done like a solo live video. And in preparation for this, I actually Googled how to do a solo live video, just like tips and tricks. Yeah, the stuff that came up was definitely not what I was looking for. Biking Bourbon is here. We're just getting ready to sign off, but it's good to see you. So anyway, not the kind of content that I put out tonight, but yeah, anyway. So cheers, Steve Joes. Thanks for the support, as always. Dirty RC Bar, thanks for having us. Thank you for being here. So yeah, go check out Dirty RC Bar. Good content coming out of there. So, all right, folks, we will see you next Wednesday. Here we go. Bobby just posted something here. We got patreon.com and Only Ben's. Yeah, Wolf E, Only Ben's. Yeah, that's the... I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to go downstairs and do a solo video live on the internet. And she was like, okay, you do you. Anyway, good stuff. Thanks a lot, you guys, for being here tonight. Check out all the channels that joined us tonight, and check out the Patreon if you would be so kind. If nothing else, check out the channel, hit the like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. That helps us out a ton. Tomorrow we've got Heaven's Door Homesick Blues. That one's coming out. If you're on Patreon, it's already out. Those come out a day early. So yeah, anyway, have a great night.